You know we have a problem of gender-based violence, the abuse of women and children. And we want to know what women, traditional leaders, what programs are you having to address that situation? Because you are the most capable people to deal with that. Thank you very much. Next.
Morning, Mr. Chair. I'm Kenny Shaw from Agri Garp. It's the area that's burning now from Bloemfontein down to Boetsap. Mr. Chair, I'm not completely prepared because the notes are in twofold. I request that the Ad Hoc Committee be careful in the changes and the wording of Article 25. We say no to changes in Article 25. Presently, the Constitution makes provision for meaningful transformation. The landowner needs the certainty so he can use the farmland as collateral at the banks. This is a stumbling block for what black encountered farmers, emergent farmers experience. Again, I ask the question, who is going to pay the loan, the bond that farmers entered with the banks? The banks are sure to lose millions. In short, the strangled SA economy is going to be burdened once again. No money, less jobs, no or slow economic growth. Even food security could be a problem. The light is the recent 700,000 land has been made available. Get people trained, be part of it, help the landless to join in agriculture. Let's get exports and boost the economy and growth and make South Africa the best country in Africa. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ons verwag dat julle moet hande vat, Agri SA en die jeug van Noord-Kaap moet saamwerk sodat julle begin om die jong mense die nodige opleiding te gee. Dankie. Proceed.
Thank you. I'm Boitumelo Moroka from the township of Kaleshiwe with 16. Chairperson, I hear you are speaking about X and the laws and everything. As we are not all perfect in that, we don't have that knowledge of the law. But mo gonna inankare mo Africa borwa ba le ba ntsi ba ile gore ba tshwarwa ke ba ile gore ga ba itsholela. Those that can afford for lawyers, they are the most people taken to prison. Those that doesn't know the laws, you understand? The laws are working for those that have money in our country. You understand? You are now busy in the land to make more prisons than building schools. To acknowledge your children only than acknowledging children in the rural areas. You are just preaching these things when you are in parliament. You are not doing it. You understand? It seems to me like it's very slower because the laws are only benefiting certain people. You are saying land compensation. You are preaching that thing every year. Every year is being preached. But only certain individuals. I'm one of those people that must benefit from those lands in the Northern Cape. There is Droogfontein. It's not the original beneficiaries. Droogfontein is not the original beneficiaries that are benefiting from those lands. You understand? Some of us, you want to go there, but there are doors that are closed because we don't have the right channels. We don't know certain people in position that we must go there. It's not all of us that know the law. You understand, Chairperson? So how are you going to do it so that those that doesn't do it, you can take it from childhood, that you teach the younger ones about the law and teach the youth most, because our elders, most of them are not educated, as you know, in South Africa. And I don't want to blame, But the youth is, most of the youth are struggling and you're just preaching it every time. Every laws are doing, you are not following the laws. Some of you are not following the laws because they think that they are above the law. There is no one that is above the law. You are creating every year laws that are not obeyed and respected. So what are you doing way forward? We must find solutions rather than taking problems every day and not solving them. Let us try as South Africans and create solutions so that we must go forward. I thank you.
Thank you very much. And next.
Good morning, Honorable Chair, members of the public. My name is Dirk Rappoel. I am the Commodity Manager for Agri Northern Cape. We as Organised Agriculture opposed the suggested amendment of Section 25 of the Constitution. Honorable Chair, to amend Section 25 or the property clause will not result in sustainable land reform. Land reform failure, my colleague mentioned that land reform failure is a result of corruption, but not only corruption, inadequate funding as well with reference to the Motlanthe report. And lastly, Honorable Chair, that you know, everybody here know that the current economic situation our country is in, to amend this section will only result in catastrophic consequences. I thank you very much.
The next one in the middle. The next one who is recognized, the one person with a sticker, and then at the back. It's Roman Date, Elubua. Minister of Health.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is John. My surname is Moloi. I'm a citizen of this place. First and foremost, I would like to congratulate the government and all the stakeholders who made it sure that this bill has been passed. It's a long-awaited process, but finally we have it. On the question this afternoon, I would like to propose one thing only that I would like to see on the bill going forward, is that a clause that will make sure that the developments or the status quo of the farms in question, or the farms that this action is going to take place, they are not tampered with, because if there's no clause that prevents that, a lot can happen. Thank you.
The next one, only people with stickers must come to the fore. Baba na already sticker.
Dumelang. Ke nna Tlotlo Lobelo, and I'm a member of the African National Congress. The ANC supports expropriation of land. Ke nna Tlotlo Lobelo, and I'm a member of the African National Congress. The ANC supports expropriation of land as a just and equitable process to restore the dignity of our people in addressing the land question. And the expropriation of land without compensation is part of that process. For years, we've been practicing the willing buyer, willing seller model, and we are now convinced by evidence that the willing buyer, willing seller model did not work. Assets for our people and to ensure food security. We submit that on Section 25, clauses 1, 4, 5, 6, and 9 should remain as they are. On clause 2, we make the following amendment. Add a new subclause 2C, which must read as follows: subject to without compensation or nil compensation under conditions laid out in a law of general application. On clause 3, which speaks about property, we make the following amendment to the first line of the clause. Everything after that remains the same, to read as follows: where compensation is payable, the amount of the compensation and the time and manner of payment must be just and equitable, etc. On clause 7, we make the following submission: that for the purposes of these hearings only, the text remains as is. On clause 8, we make the following amendment in the first line of the clause as follows, and everything thereafter remains the same. No provision of this section, including payment of compensation, may impede this trade. In conclusion, expropriation of land is a just and equitable process to restore the dignity of our people. The expropriation must be done by an executing authority, the executive,
Conclude.
and only where there is a dispute which cannot be resolved can it be referred to the judiciary. Ke a leboga.
And Orefe Pampiria, how? Can we get your notes?
Yes.
You see why women and men are equal. Women can always speak very well, make their points. So nobody must oppress women. Next at the back.
Molweni, good afternoon. Goeiemiddag. Mna ndingusizwe kaJack, ilungu elipheleleyo lika African National Congress. Ndilapha ngokuba ndizodlulisa lo myalezo. Thina singunkongolose sithi. The ANC supports the expropriation of land as a just and equitable process to restore the dignity of our people in addressing the land question, and the appropriation of land without compensation is part of that process. We are convinced by evidence that willing buyer, willing seller, ayisebenzi. For the ANC, land reform is about redressing historical injustice and dispossession of the black majority. It's also a vital opportunity to unlock growth and promote socio-economic transformation. The ANC's land reform program provides a radical way to address the land question and build productive assets for our people to ensure food security. We submit that on Section 25, Clause 1, 4, 5, 6, and 9 should remain. And secondly, on Clause 2, we make the following amendments. And we are going to add a new subsection, Clause 2C. Subject to, without compensation, or nil or zero compensation under conditions laid out in a general application. On Clause 3, which speaks about property, we make the following amendment to the first line of the clause. Everything after that remains the same. Where compensation is payable, the amount of the compensation and the time and manner of payment must be just and equitable for those who do not afford. On Clause 7, we make the following submission. That the purpose of these hearings only, the text remains as is. The last one, on clause 8, we make the following amendments in the first line of the clause as follows, and everything therefore remains the same. No provision of this section, including the payment of compensation, may impede the state, etc. In conclusion, expropriation of land is a just and equitable process to restore the dignity of our people. This expropriation must be done by an executing authority, the executive, and only where there is a dispute which cannot be resolved, it can then be referred to the judiciary. Thank you very much.
Siyabulela tata usinikeze incwadi.
Enkosi.
Any speaker at the back, come closer.
Good morning, Chairperson, fellow committee members. My name is Pimelo Siditi. I'm from the Francis Bar District of the African National Congress. I appreciate this, some of the processes that have been taken. We're here in 2018 discussing the very same process in this very same hall. I want to submit in support of the amendment of section 25 as follows, and in support of what has been said already by some of my comrades. I'm 52 years old. In 1988, I was 20, and most of the 20-year-old white males who were given access to land benefited from the 1913 Land Act and the subsequent 1937 Land Act, Amendment Act rather. So it only makes sense that given the new dispensation of post-94, section 25 must be amended such that the same benefits that were accrued post-1913 and